This is some strawberries I ordered from Nature Hills. They seem to be doing really good. Just wanted to give y'all an update. Got flowers planted in this old bowl that's wore out and being used for everything else. This is some tomatoes. I have to transplant some more strawberries. For some reason, these on this end aren't doing good at all, and they're in the same soil. I don't understand it. Didn't cover their crowns. We had some hard winds last night. Lots of rain yesterday. And last year, this peach tree made more peaches than we knew what to do with. Well, we heavily pruned it because it was recommended. And this year, it might have a dozen on it, but that's okay, you know. Next year it'll be loaded again. And I got a couple of German pink tomatoes in this bag here, you can see. I'm going to transplant one of them. I didn't intend for two to stay in there that long. They don't get real dark green like the beefsteak leaves. For some reason, they have the same fish emulsion fertilizer that the beefsteak has. And my little little blueberry, it don't look like it's hardly growing an inch, but it will. I just put it in there about a month ago. And these are still beautiful. It won't be long before some of them starts to ripen up. It'll take a month, almost a month, for everything on this bush to ripen because it didn't all bloom at the same time. This is the beefsteak tomato I have in the challenge. You can see it's already got 3 small tomatoes there that I expect to grow a lot larger. I've got to be Callie Kim. And all these plum trees that we just put in this year, they're just growing like crazy. And I've got another couple of German pinks in this bucket. I got to take, no, actually there's 3 in there. So 2 of these have got to go, and I don't know how I'm going to do that without disturbing the roots, but I may just cut a couple of them off. I planted too many of these in starter cups, and I gave a lot of them away at church, but not everybody wanted some. Not everybody there's gardeners. I put a couple in the beds of these new plum trees, and I'm going to fertilize them and see if I can stake them up. And I think that mint's probably going to overtake that one over there, but that'll be okay. I'll cut it back. And some more strawberries. I'm hoping to have enough this year of my own without buying to make strawberry preserves. These little blueberries are doing, I didn't let them make this is actually a wild blueberry here that grows in this area out in the woods, and it's a great pollinator for these other hybrids. I think this is a powder blue, and I think that over there is a climax. Best I can remember. I took the tags off. Never take the tags off if you're over 65. Okay, and this is the Thompson's grape, and I notice right here I have some little grapes blooming, and another one here. And we just put this in last year. I can't believe how much it's grown. I was going to pick those off, and my brother said, no, just let those 2 go and see what you get. Then you'll know if you're going to like the grape or not. And this has got to be repotted into a bigger pot. I ran out of pots. I ran out of compost. We mulched this tree with some new mulch after it had already put on all of its fruit, and it didn't like the mulch. It threw all of its fruit off. If you look closely underneath it, You can see tiny little satsuma oranges laying on the ground. So we don't guess we'll be eating oranges this fall. Unless the man up in Wicksburg got his, he didn't remulch his. That was pretty good mulch, I thought, when we bought it. Oh, I see there's one tiny one left here. There he is. Might get one, and there might be another one hidden if it don't fall off. Maybe the good Lord will keep it on there still. Maybe there'll be two. My son will get one, I'll get one. And we pruned this pear tree heavily last year, and I noticed there's a pear. And I found a few more on here, but they're so hard to find because the leaves are so green. I was going to give you an update on the pumpkin vine. See all those blooms on this eggplant? It was wrapped up with aphids, and I just took the hose and put the thing on jet. And jet sprayed it. Some of the blooms I knocked off with the jet spray, but it knocked all those aphids off. And they didn't come back. Look at all these blooms. Of course, they're all male blooms. Aren't they beautiful colors? And look how they're going. And all that wind we had almost destroyed the vines. And those that were looking a little peaked, they're not anymore. I like that fish emulsion fertilizer. It's organic, and the plants seem to love it. Oh, I want to show you something really awesome. And that's awesome too, but that's not what I'm wanting to show you. I want to show you this plant here. I think it's this plant. Yeah. This plant here broke. You can see the end of the break right here. So I took and covered it up with some wet dirt. And look here. It rooted. And it's got something eating on it, but it's growing like crazy right on out from there. Look here, what a beautiful bloom. It's a male bloom. I should take my clippers and come out here and clip a bunch of those off so they don't attract any borers, of course. Now that, so far, that Vic Save has nothing has bothered them, not even pumpkin bugs, squash bugs. I saw one squash bug on my peach tree and I gave him a thump. And when I did, I knocked off a tiny peach. Just smell it. These on this end get a lot of sun in the morning. And those on that end get the sun in the afternoon. And as we go on into summer, the sun will go farther north here, and this will have sun all day long, both from the fence back there and to the end of the patch here. I want to show you what really good soil looks like when you don't do anything to it. You don't grow anything in it. You see all those little burps in the soil there? That is worm aeration. After a rain, they'll come up and they'll do those little holes aerating the soil, and they're everywhere. You can shovel up dirt back here, and every shovelful you'll have a worm. I don't like walking back here because it's almost like walking on a cushion. You can feel it sinking in. I don't want to mess up there. That's where my compost pile was this year. Right there. And I had another one over here in this corner. and I used up all the compost. And this was a mistake, I know now. Had a small compost pile here, and I'd used up most of it. So somebody gave me some onions, and I had nowhere else to put them. So I just stuck them in here, and they're not getting any sun. This might get maybe 30 minutes, an hour. They're probably not going to do much. We'll just eat them as green onions. Well, that's pretty much it. I just thought I'd give you an update on my little pot garden. When I told my son I named it Pot and Perma Garden, he said, people's going to think you're growing marijuana. I said, well, when they get on there and they have a look, they won't think that. Look at these things. Now, the lady across the road planted hers. I mean, she actually gave me these. It was plants that the co-op was throwing away because nobody bought them and they got leggy and didn't look pretty anymore, so they were throwing them away. Except for these, I bought these collard plants. I got to get in here and weed that. Anyway, mine is like 3 times the size of hers. These both have some broccoli heads coming out. That other one has a pretty good size one already. But so I took some fish emulsion over and gave it to hers, and she pulled all of hers up and cooked them, I think. And she had a mixture of I believe it was kale, collards, cabbage, and broccoli. And she pulled everything up but the flowers. And here's another German pink I got to stake and weed. If you hear me huffing and puffing when I'm walking around here, it's because I have atrial fibrillation. My heart beats 100 and some odd beats a minute, not real beats. It causes me to be short-winded anyway. I had to have a patch put in my heart. Look at that rose bush. Isn't it a beauty? Oh, I love it. It makes the most beautiful roses. And could anybody tell me what those little flowers right there are? Because I don't know, and they're all over the place. It looks like clover. See, you can look at it. It looks like clover, and then it'll bloom. Those little pink blooms in there are so pretty. My flowers are doing great. I do love growing things. I don't like living in town. I grew up in the country on a farm. And this is just, I love my neighbors. They're all wonderful people, but this is not my choice. It's not my choice. My son thinks he's taking care of me. I'm doing his cooking and his washing, but he's taking care of me. God bless him. He's a good boy. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a blessed week.